Hey guys, it's Sekaar, and today we're going to be going over my Stamina Sorcerer build that I've been using lately for update 40. I think this build genuinely has it all. My resistances are through the roof, so I'm super tanky. My damage is really nice. I have really high weapon and spell damage. And overall, I just think this is a really solid build that I hope you guys enjoy, because I really have been enjoying this lately, and I think it's one of the best builds that I've really been playing lately. So guys, one quick thing that I ask of you is just a quick favor. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. I would really appreciate if you did that. It's just one button. Just hitting that, it would really help me out so much. We just passed 8,000 subscribers, which is awesome, huge, massive, but you know, we gotta start making our way to 9,000 sooner rather than later. So if anybody who's not subscribed is watching this right now, clicking that button really helps me out. And if you are subscribed, just hit that like button. That helps me out so much too. So guys, without further ado, let's get started. We're gonna be an orc on our StamSorc. I've been really liking orc lately. I just really feel like it's the best combination of damage, and just the passive that you get back from the healing as well is huge for that. I've just been on a huge orc kick lately, and I think that's definitely one of the best stamina races in the game, and I just really like it overall. Also, looking at our attributes, we're going to have 27 points into health and 37 points into stamina to give us a max stam pool of 23.6k, a max health pool of 33.8k, and a max magic pool of 16.5k. We're also going to be using the warrior to increase our overall weapon damage as high as possible. That's going to increase our damage as much, and then also it's going to be increasing our healing too, because you know, the higher your weapon damage, the higher your healing as well. So that's why we're using the warrior on this build. And then also we're going to be using Vampire Stage 3 because of that undeath passive that you get from it. The less health you are, the less damage you take. So overall, that's huge for your tankiness. And I'll get to the skills later when we have a bigger bar for it. I'm just going to go to the actual skills menu for that, because, you know, you can see everything there, but, you know, it's pretty small. So we're going to bring it up on a different screen so it'll be nice and big soon. So looking at our gear next, we're going to be using Mayorsalok as our monster set. And I know what you guys are thinking, Mayorsalok, that comes from the longest dungeon in the game. And yeah, it does. And that sucks. It really does. But at the end of the day, you really should grind this out, because next patch, it's going to be just as strong, if not stronger, with that status effect buff. So right now, definitely, if you need to, grind out Mayorsalok. I've been loving it lately. It's a great source of damage, and it's overall just one of the best monster sets in the game. Basically, what it does is it gives you a line of max stam, and the two pieces, when you deal damage with a melee heavy attack, you spew a cone of corruption, dealing 8,200 disease damage to enemies for over 4 seconds. So that's a really nice dot pressure that you have over 4 seconds. And then also, that damage is increased by 10% for each negative effect that your enemies have, up to a maximum of 300%. So basically, that damage is going to get higher too, because we're not even fully buffed on this. Actually, I'll just show you guys real quick just how high we can get just at our base level of healing. So let's get our Rallying Cry to proc. Honestly, yeah, right there. So if we look at that, our damage gets up to 10.2k on there, which is awesome. Like, that's really just a great source of damage. Just for heavy attacking, that's over 4 seconds as well. That's a huge source of damage. And on top of that, we're gonna have a minimum of 6 different negative effects on your enemies at all times. So that's also 10.2k times, you know, 60%. So that's a huge increase in damage. I think that's like, what, a 16k tooltip, basically, doing quick math? That's like 16k. So that's huge over 4 seconds. I definitely recommend using Mayorsalok. It is a great way to chunk your enemy's health bar. So we're using a heavy reinforced helmet, and then medium well-fitted shoulders. Our body piece that we're trying out for the first time ever, that my friend Kieran showed me. He was the one that put me onto this set. I'm going to put a link to his YouTube channel in the description. Please go check him out. He's awesome. I definitely recommend his stuff. We're going to be using Curus of the Trial. So it's going to be a Trial by Fire. That's the name of the set. So what this does is it gives you max health, armor, healing taken, and while under the effect of an elemental status effect, you gain 8,500 armor. That is so much armor. Oh my god. That is an insane amount of armor to have at all times, basically, because with this current patch, everybody's using ally susceptibility, and next patch, it's going to get even worse. So you're going to have your armor increased a bunch. So you're going to have 8,500 armor. Major resolve, minor resolve. That's going to increase your resistances so much. I think that when I'm on my back bar, when I'm fully buffed up, I get to about 37 to 38k. I think it's about 38k physical and spell resistance with this fully proc. So you're super tanky on this build, and I absolutely love it. I've been really loving using this set so much. So we're using a heavy reinforced chest piece of the trials. We're using a medium well-fitted hands of the trials, light divine's waist of the trials as well, heavy reinforced legs of the trials, and medium well-fitted boots of the trials. And then our back bar set is going to be Rallying Cry, because why not? This is the current meta. It's awesome for a reason. And then, so we have our regular resistance going up because of trials. Rallying Cry is going to help our critical resistance, which is awesome. So the 2-piece is critical chance, 3-piece is max magic, 4-piece crit chance, and then while Battle Spirit is active. So what that means is either when you're in Cyrodiil, a duel, a battleground, or Imperial City, only in those 4 specific scenarios, critically healing yourself or an ally is going to give you 300 weapon and spell damage, and then 1650 crit resist for 20 seconds. And then for each group member you have, it's going to be lowered, but I mean, you know, it's still great. So that's going to overall increase your damage, and it's going to increase your critical resistance. So you are doing, you just have so many resistances on this build when you're fully buffed up like that. I absolutely love it so much. I've been really digging the way this has felt. I just love the damage mitigation, the healing. I just really have felt like I've not taken that much damage compared to my normal builds on this, and I really like it. So we're using a infused ring of Rallying Cry in the weapon and spell damage enchantment. Another the same exact thing. We're doing 2 infused rings of Rallying Cry weapon and spell damage enchantments on it, and then also we're going to be using an infused necklace of Rallying Cry weapon and spell damage enchantment as well. And then our main hand is going to be Master's Perfected Dual Wield, because why not? It's still meta while it lasts. We're still going to use it because it's incredibly strong. I don't care, guys. Say in the comments below, oh my god, he's using Master's Dual Wield. Yeah, I don't care. It's in the game. I'm going to play with what I want to play with. And we're doing Master's Dual Wield because I think it hits really hard, and I think it's funny to watch people's health bars go to 0. So that's why I'm using this. So our main hand is a Master's Perfected Mace in the Nirnhone trait with a poison damage enchantment on it, and our offhand is Master's Perfected Mace in the Sharpened trait with a disease enchantment on it. You want to make sure that those are the exact same enchantments, because those are going to stack up for your Marisalak proc in the future. And then also our back bar is going to be a Rallying Cry Ice Staff in the defending trait with an increased weapon and spell damage enchantment on the back as well. So moving on to our champion points real quick before we get to our skills. Our blue slottables are going to be Wrathful Strikes, Mastered Arms, Ironclad, and Untamed Aggression. Our red slottables are going to be Pain's Refuge, Sustained by Suffering, Survival Instincts, and Celerity. And the green tree, what we really care about is Breakfall right here. Make sure you're using this, Rationer, and Liquid Efficiency. And then onto our skills, because this is a much bigger screen than the other one, and I really don't want to make you guys squint, because I know a lot of you guys are using mobile, and that's way too small of a screen for you guys to see that. So our main spammable is going to be Rending Slashes. This is going to be buffed by your Master's Dual Wield, so this is going to hit very, very hard when you're fully buffed up. And on top of that, it's going to leave the Hemorrhaging status effect, so that's one of the status effects that's going to help buff your Marisalak damage as well. Camouflage Hunter, basically the reason why you're using this is because it's going to give you access to Major Savagery and Prophecy, increasing your weapon and spell critical by 2,600. Also, you're going to get Minor Berserk, but I mean, who cares about that? You have another skill that gives that as well. And then Crystal Weapon. This is a nice little spammable to weave with your Rending Slashes. It's going to do 8,300 physical damage, and then the second hit is going to do a little bit less, but it's still a great source of damage. It's also going to reduce your enemy's armor by 1,000, so please do not sleep on that as well. If you combo this properly, it is a great source of burst damage, because, you know, that's 8,300, and we're not even close to being buffed up on this. Our damage gets increased a lot, so, you know, that tooltip is going to get a lot higher than that. And then I've been using Ball of Lightning lately. I know that a lot of you guys like Streak, and I think Streak is an absolutely phenomenal skill. I really think it's an amazing skill, but I've been really liking Ball of Lightning lately, just for the simple fact of how much damage mitigation it gives me. If I streak away, or if I use Ball of Lightning away real quick, it gives me that little ball that's going to absorb projectiles, and that is a great source of damage mitigation. It allows me to heal, and it allows me to really not take as much damage as I normally would. And then I like Bound Ornaments a lot because this is going to increase our max stam by 8% on both of our bars. So it's going to give us a lot of extra stam, so that in turn increases our damage as well. But this is also a great source of damage as well. Getting those 4 knives or whatever they're called in the air and then comboing that with your other abilities, that is a great source of extra sustained damage that you can just weave with your other abilities. And it is a great way to just overpower your opponents. I've been loving it so much. I dropped an execute for this just to show you how much I like this. And then Dawnbreaker, because Dawnbreaker is awesome. Hitting this I've been hitting so hard. I think my highest Dawnbreaker that I hit this patch so far, with this build, I think I hit a 16k one earlier today on stream. So that was crazy. I really felt bad for that person. And overall, my Dawnbreakers have really been hitting hard, and just comboing that with your other abilities is a great way to just catch your enemies off guard and just secure that kill. And then also Critical Surge is on our back bar as well. It's going to be your source of major brutality and sorcery, increasing your weapon and spell damage by 20% for 33 seconds. Also, while active, dealing critical damage is going to heal you for 3,366 health, and that can occur once every second. And honestly, that's a great source of healing as well. That's probably one of your best sources of healing, because that's just sustained healing over time, and just having that is just a great way to just keep your health up. Between that and Resolving Vigor, you're just keeping your health up at all times, and it is phenomenal. And then Hurricane, this is going to be your source of major resolve, so this is going to increase your physical and spell resistance by 6k. Also, you're going to get minor expedition, so it's going to increase your movement speed by 15%. Also, it's a nice little AoE around you as well, doing damage every 2 seconds. And then on top of that, it's just even if it doesn't hit your enemies that hard, it can still crit. It still has the potential to crit, and that's just another way to proc your crit surge and get that extra healing too. And then Resolving Vigor, this is a nice 5-second heal over time. So this is going to give you just between this and Crit Surge is going to get your health right back up to full pretty quickly. And on top of that, you're getting Minor Resolve, so it's going to increase your physical and spell resistance by 3k. And then Dark Deal, that you're going to be sacrificing magic for stam and health. And also on top of that, it's going to give you Minor Berserk and Minor Force, increasing your damage done by 5%, increasing your critical damage done by 10%. So basically, this is a great way to just keep your overall sustain up, because you don't use your magic that much. And this is a great way to just keep your stam up as much as possible. And healing too. And then Ellie's Susceptibility. This is going to be your source of major breach on your enemies. So this is going to reduce your enemy's physical and spell resistance by 6k. And then on top of that, every 7.5 seconds, your enemy is going to be afflicted with the Burning, Chilled, and Concussion status effects. So if you just add those 3 status effects, and then on top of that, also Rending Slashes, just by hitting those, your Merislock is going to be increased by 40%. And then also on our weapon glyphs, we have an extra 2, so that's an extra 60%. So right there, that's why we're using Merislock, is because of all this extra status effect damage that we have on your enemies. And then finally, Summon Charge Atro. I've been really loving this on the back bar. It's a great source of AoE pressure that you can put on multiple enemies. And on top of that, if you're grouped with anybody, they get Major Berserk for getting this as well. So it's going to increase their damage done by 10% for 10 seconds as well. So it just helps not only you for that extra damage and that little AoE pressure, and also that kind of, it can be a little bit source of kiting as well. If you're taking too much pressure, you can put that in between you and your enemies, and they might be able not to target you as well. But on top of that, it also helps your allies as well, giving them Major Berserk. It's just a huge win overall. I really like this skill. And that's the entire build. I also use tripods, but everybody uses tripods. That's what I use on all my builds. So guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Also, one quick announcement. I've been making a lot more TikToks recently, so if you guys are a fan of TikTok, the link will be in the description. I'd really appreciate if you just went over there and followed as well. I never ask for you guys to pay anything for this kind of stuff. I'm trying to provide all this content for free, but at the end of the day, if you guys could just do me a favor and just do all the free stuff, like following on TikTok, following on Twitch, subscribing on YouTube. I've got an Instagram that I use now. If you guys could just go take a few seconds out of your day, make sure you're following all those things, I'd highly highly appreciate it. That'd be really cool if you guys could do that. But guys, I've talked to you guys' ear off so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys staying to the end of the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.